if we actually collaborate, we utilize each other's strengths and cover each other's weaknesses, then we'll move forward faster as a team and as a society. All right, welcome everybody to another episode of Tony Blanko's podcast. This is episode number 2, and I'm excited to have my cousin over here, JimHealthyHabits. How you doing, man?
Happy to be here. I'm
Awesome.
actually I'm honored you decided to pick me to to talk on here with you.
Well, I wanted to pick people who are certified, which we'll get to, and who know what they're talking about, who could actually bring people real value. That's the point of the podcast. And so I thought, who better than somebody who I know very close to me, who's very passionate about his craft and what he does for people.
Good stuff. I love it.
This episode is called Health is Wealth. And what we're going to be going over is basically what makes Jim know what he's talking about and be able to help him with these things, which is going to be health. That's the topic of conversation today, wellness and fitness. And we're going to be talking about some of the healthy habits I'll be asking you, as your name is Jim Healthy Habits. I'm going to ask you a little bit about your business, and then we'll wrap it up from there. The value that you're going to bring with each one of these things, I know is going to very much flesh out the skeleton. Sticking on the
I
topic
think
of wellness, you know what I mean?
absolutely. I think we both bring a lot of value no matter what it is that we're talking about.
Thank you. That's true. I
Yeah,
agree
of
with that.
course.
So the first
Of
thing that I want to
course.
ask you is on your Instagram, it says that you're an LMT and a CPT. Now, from what I understand, that's licensed massage therapist and certified physical trainer,
Okay.
correct?
Yes. Yes,
Cool.
that is
Tell us a little bit
correct.
about what you do.
So I've been kind of working in the health and wellness space for maybe the past, I want to say 4 to 5 years. And that it all started at least professionally, from a professional standpoint, started out with a certified personal training. And I had a number of clients, and it was a lot of trial and error from there. And I ended up finding body work, and I didn't realize how much it was supposed to be a stepping stone, to be quite honest. And I just fell in love. I had people coming off my table like, wow, like, you've got a real skill, you've got a real talent for this. Have you ever, thought about getting your license in massage therapy? Have you ever thought about being a physical therapist? And just the opportunities kind of blew up from there. I got licensed, and I've been helping people in just like, all walks of life and in a variety of different ways. So
Wow, okay. So body work, that's a new one for me. What is body work?
body work would be any type of, I would say, manual manipulation of either the energy or the physical state. So like for me as a massage therapist, I do manually work into the tissue, into the muscles. I'll work into I'll help out with with mobility, usually passively, but I've done, resistive stretching. I've done actually like very PT, very physical therapist related work. Um, and helped a lot of people out of either painful situations or prevented them from from getting injured and things like that. Body work, Reiki kind of falls into the realm of body work as well. You're kind of working with people's auras and you're not really touching them. But chiropractic work, massage, stretching, all that would kind of fall under body work.
Okay. So I do have my certification in Reiki, so I know what you're talking about. And with Reiki,
Mhm.
like there is the non-physical, and then there is like the light physical. There is like both of them are totally fine. It really depends on what the client is comfortable with, right? So you can touch, but then also it's just as effective to be hovering right over and not touch. And what blew my mind when I first started really getting into it, especially because it was right as, like we were all supposed to be social distancing, is when I got into Reiki. I found that distance over the phone Reiki is still effective, which that was
Wow.
yeah, that was crazy for me. And it's based on a certain hermetic principle that like energy is transferred no matter the distance. Energy defies like time and space.
I can definitely see that. I mean, it's we're kind of locked into this fourth dimension, right? We're kind of locked within time and as this construct that we all believe in and try to fit our entire lives into. But I've not really had too much experience with Reiki, at least not working it. I've definitely been the receiver of Reiki sessions, and I can definitely attest to the validity of it.
So people speak on like Jesus Christ healing people, and then it's insane how he did these acts of absolute like miracles, right? Where he helped people see who couldn't see, he helped people walk who couldn't walk. And when I learned about Reiki and I learned about that transfer of energy, it's all about intention and it's all about love. And those two energies right there are sent to that's what's basically being the factor there that's making things happen. But you spoke earlier about the body work, and what's crazy is that before you actually got certified, when we lived together, because there was a period of time where we actually lived together for everybody listening, and I was going through a healing period in my life where I couldn't walk for 2 years. When we actually did live together, I was just getting out of that. And I was basically learning to do all these normal things again. And I went ice skating or roller skating. And I remember I felt, because I hadn't used those muscles before, I felt this incredibly intense pain. I didn't know what to do. I thought maybe I pulled a muscle again and I was terrified. So maybe that contributed to the pain because mind over matter, right? What you believe
Oh,
is
yeah.
what your reality is, what your perception is your reality. So I really believed in that moment because of my fear that, I was hurt again. You helped me without even knowing that we were practicing Reiki because it hadn't really come into our lives like that yet. You used intention and transfer of energy to help me that specific day. I was laying in bed and I told you, man, I can't get out of bed. I feel like this incredible pain. You came to my bedside and you were able to send positive intention without even making physical touch. And that made me feel so good. I was able to walk again by the end of the day. So it sounds a little dramatic, but I was scared to walk because I felt pain. And because you subsided my fear, you allowed me to believe in myself and get up and start moving regardless of the little twinges and pain that I may have felt.
I definitely remember that. I definitely remember that. And
Yep.
it's like when you bring up things like that, it's all these little like sprinkles of uh, you know of what was going to end up happening in my life. You
Right.
know, because when I got even into the health and wellness space, or even became interested in it, it kind of sparked way back in high school even, and it didn't really fully manifest itself until I was like maybe mid 20s, and just kind of getting my shit together, to be quite honest,
Right.
and now I feel like things are just rolling like steamrolling right now.
Right. So let me ask you, a play on your name, Jim Healthy Habits. What are three healthy habits that come to mind that you'd like to share with people? And I
Three
know that there's a
healthy
bunch, but I'm going to confine you to
Yeah.
the top three. What are the first three that come to mind?
First three that come to mind. I mean, listen, you can't go wrong with the big three, right? That would be diet, exercise, and sleep. So like with your diet, I would say that that also encompasses like hydration and proper hydration at that. So like drinking not only your water, but having enough of those electrolytes to help retain the water. Because remember, you need magnesium to activate the vitamin D in the system. You need sodium for the osmosis in the blood to kind of pull hydration into the tissues. Because hydration is not the amount of water you have in your system; it's the amount of water that's being retained by the actual tissue.
Okay.
So in order to achieve that, you need the sodium. Then you've got a bunch of the other like metals or minerals. You got phosphorus, potassium, manganese. And so you'll find a lot of these things in like, your leafy greens, your vegetables, your meats for sure. You got your iron and everything in there. But diet, Man, there's so much that goes along with that. You know, you got nutrition and everything. You can't be eating crap is basically the general idea behind maybe that first one. You
What you
eat as
put
like
in
as
is what you get out.
is what you get out. Exactly. So if you eat like crap, you're gonna feel like crap. And if you feel like crap, you're not gonna do what I would say would be number two, which would be to go ahead and keep moving, exercise. And I think there's like a general idea that like, hey, exercise needs to be exhaustive, and you know you need to be sore for days, and like, and if you reach a certain point where you can go ahead and achieve that on a regular basis, then I'm all for it. But if you're a beginner, then like I'm sure most of the people, you know, and would end up watching this would probably be in the beginning stages. Because there's only a very small percentage of people that actually exercise on like exercise enough to make it intense enough, right? So
Right.
I say just fucking move, man, you know? Just get up and move as often as you can. It's almost it's Newton's first law, right? An object in motion will stay in motion unless acted upon by another force.
Right.
So
And I
if
saw
you start moving,
go ahead.
go ahead. Now, if you start
No,
moving and then you want to keep moving, you know?
right. Right. I saw somewhere that they showed like the x-rays or whatever scan that it was that actually showed the amount of muscle tissue that's in somebody's arm, and it was an elderly person. Now there were two different people that they showed, an elderly person that has been continuously moving and never had a long period of like not working out, not exercising. And when I say working out or exercising, that doesn't mean being Mr. Olympia. That just means maintaining a healthy amount of movement daily, right? It's nothing crazy.
Yeah, that's
So,
the biggest thing is at least maintaining. Yeah.
right. And it showed the big difference is that somebody who doesn't move and doesn't exercise loses so much of their actual body mass.
Yeah, you're you know, if you don't use it, you lose it, right? The muscle will atrophy if it doesn't receive some type of stress signal that says, "Hey, I need to either maintain where I'm at or even grow in order to sustain the kind of energy output that we're doing on a daily basis."
Right.
So, you know, doing any type of like daily exercises, um, and you just go to the basics. Doesn't need to be these crazy Instagram workouts that you see with people's on these bands and these balls. They're doing these handstands and stuff. You got your squats, your lunges. You got your hip hinge movements like deadlifts. You got upper body horizontal pushing, vertical pushing, and then pulling for both horizontal and vertical too. So, you know, pull ups, push ups, rows, and then overhead pressing would probably be another great one. So,
Right on.
and remember, like even though I say it doesn't need to be exhaustive, that goes the other way too. That doesn't mean like take it so easy on yourself that you don't get anything out of it. You know, there is a sweet medium, and you need to know your body well enough. A lot of the work that I do really kind of connects mind to body, right? So, and that's what Reiki does too, right? Reiki will you're kind of this conductor for positive energy for the person, but it'll also connect them with themselves. So the
Right.
more you drop down into your own body, and exercise is a great way to do it. That's probably the number one way to do it is dropping into your own body through exercise. The more you'll be able to, you know, to know what's wrong when it is wrong. And then like the more you know your body, the more other things will kind of expand the rest of your life.
Right.
And then that kind of brings us to number three, which would be sleep. So you've got to be sleeping well in order to be awake well.
Wow. That's a really good point. I like how you put that. So I used to it's no secret. I rap and I put into my raps a lot of the stuff that I was doing since I was young, and now I'm proud to say that not that one thing has to do with another, but the fact that I rap is so that people who know me and listen to my music know that I've spoken about smoking pot. I've spoken a lot about drinking. I spoke a lot about these things, right? And I even made it sound cool for a while. But the fact of the matter is that right now I'm about to hit 2 months completely sober, no smoking weed, no drinking. And I gotta say, to that effect, my sleep has improved significantly.
Dude,
significantly.
I'm so proud of you and so happy for you, man.
Thank you, brother. I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
for
And if I didn't feel the instant, we all search for instant gratification. I know that there's long-term benefits and that, you stay persistent, stay consistent, and you will reap those rewards. But part of like smoking and drinking is because we want an instant gratification. We want to feel something right away. But I have to admit, ever since I stopped, like there was for sure like the alcohol withdrawal, that was tough. But the clarity that I have now, and even after a week, right after I got through the withdrawal, um, I mean, just absolute clarity. Like it's totally different. I feel like my memory is better, my sleep is better, my movements are better, and I have more energy. So I am reaping those instant gratifications and the long term rewards, you know?
dude, I agree wholeheartedly. In fact, on the topic of sleep and exactly what you were saying, would you agree that like, and I know you've always been a loving person. Like I know you've always, loved especially family. Like I know like when it comes to me and you, like we basically would die for our fucking families, you
Yeah,
know?
family is everything.
Um, is 100%. But did you find that you were able to love more wholly and more genuinely after gaining sobriety?
Absolutely, because I'm one person. I feel now
Yeah.
clarity in my thinking. It's not like I'm gonna smoke and then now I'm a different person with these different thoughts, or then I drink and I care a little bit less or a lot less. Uh, a lot of people will bring up to me things that, oh, remember when you said this? And I'm like, no, like I really don't remember that at all. So being present is major. For me now, that's probably one of the biggest things that helps me to love more is that I'm more present and I'm here for my family and the people that I love.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I noticed too. Like my relationship with my family members greatly improved after I and I didn't realize that that's a great way to put it too, is that because now I was just one person versus I was, Jimmy on weed, I was Jimmy, drinking, I was Jimmy on these other things, so after I was just, me, then I was able to give like, a true version of myself to everybody around me. And I love
100%.
I love strangers even.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that's why I do what I do. Is like I love everybody.
Yeah, it's funny because, like on that topic with family, you do have past, and you are kind of like in a fight of the past every time that you try to connect in the present. There may be things that are holding you back, but strangers, it's like, I'm a bartender and I love
Mhm.
to connect with people. If I don't connect with people, I'm not walking away with nothing, but the better that I make people feel because you got to understand what are people's motivations? And it's something that I pondered. Why would somebody come to my bar? They come to my bar to forget about life for a little bit, to feel better, to socialize, to have a good time, to be made to feel important and like they're being listened to. So I utilize all these motivating factors and I connect with people. So yeah, I do love strangers.
Oh yeah, 100%. Well, and imagine like over this past couple months for me, well, actually almost about over a year now. Like I have to be in a stranger's space, like
Oh yeah,
I'm doing the body work, so I'm literally grabbing into their hips, into their legs, into their arms, hands on the chest or whatever the heck it is, and like I've got to create this like comfortable space, and I don't think I would be able to do that if I wasn't a people person.
so you just effortlessly and naturally glided right into the next topic, which is telling us a little bit about the value that you bring clients. Why, essentially, what would make somebody hear this and say, wow, I need his services. I would like for what he does to people for him to help me with.
I'm gonna try to boil that down into maybe three reasons, right? So, and these would be like three like very very realistic reasons, I would say. Like
And like results
one,
oriented.
yeah, exactly, results oriented, because that is what it's all about, right? If it's not going to get you the result you want, then why the heck would I even look into it? So if you're an athlete and you're looking to help improve like your performance in the gym or your sport, just by either opening up your range of motion or increasing the mobility that you might be lacking, then boom, I can definitely help you on out with that, right? And that'll be both a combination of like either the passive stretching that I do, which would increase the flexibility and mobility, range of motion, as well as the deep tissue body work, the deep tissue massage that I do to help kind of relieve knots and overall stress. Second would definitely be if you're looking to help yourself through like recovery from a recent injury,
Mm,
and you are cleared by a physician, of course, because technically, if you as you take class and everything, massage and body work is for healthy people, is what they say. So
okay.
you can't have a fever, things like that. You can't have a broken leg and then I'll work into the leg. It doesn't work. You got to let the thing heal. But
Right.
if you're cleared by a physician and you need to help increase that range of motion again, that mobility that you lost during the acute recovery stage, then I can help you out with that as well. And then third, I'd say everybody's suffering from just stress of everyday life, right? You got people working in
Hmm.
offices all day long. You got people hunched on over. I'm starting to see these trends with just the general population. And it would be just tight chest, right, from kind of punching over this way on the computer, on the phone, what have you. Neck tight muscles here in the neck, and not necessarily short tight, but more so like a lengthened tightness, where things kind of need to be reversed, right? So some of the work I do is actually a little uncomfortable in the moment, but afterwards you're like, holy crap, like I didn't know I needed that. So like I've got some of these like chest releases, trap releases. I even kind of dig into the subscap, which would be like it's a very uncomfortable, it's a very weird kind of feeling where I'll kind of dig like under the armpit and
Hmm.
reach into the muscle that's like hiding under the bone there.
Wow.
But just releasing some of that
How does
stuff that
that
kind of builds
benefit the
up from
person?
day to day life. So that'll because remember, subscap is an internal rotator, so you're kind of like this all the time, and by kind of helping to release that, I'm able to kind of help you get into this motion here, right? And
Hmm.
the more we can do this with ourselves, because this external rotation is usually what's lacking in a lot of people. If you're feeling it like back here, and you're like, oh man, I've got this like deep knot back here. It's kind of in between my shoulder and my spine, and you'll find a lot of people saying that, like, oh, I don't know, like the knot's right back here, and that's right back here. This entire area needs to be worked into. And what usually needs to happen is a strengthening of the stabilizers for those external rotators,
Hmm.
and then a release of the of all the muscles here that kind of internally rotate. So I would release the chest here, because remember the chest attachment goes over to the humerus here, pulls you in like this,
Right.
right?
And so if
So
that's
because
tight, it's not going to be able to.
exactly,
And that's also a result
exactly.
of the natural inclination that people have to lean forward.
To lean forward. We're sitting in our chairs. Chairs are almost the next epidemic, man. And remember,
Right.
this was all just upper body. There's a whole ton of like, oh man, my lower back is killing me. And what's happening with that is usually the back muscles are connected to the pelvis, to those hip bones. And then those hip bones are usually laterally tilted or rotated in a specific manner because of your lower limbs, your hamstrings, the proximal attachment for the quads, your hip flexors, your psoas major, and then your iliacus, and then all the like the deep six hip rotator muscles that end up getting tightened over time as you're sitting down, as you're crossing your legs, the way you lean on things. People are just doing these things they don't even realize, and then one day comes and you can't change your socks,
Wow. That's a
and
scary
then
thought.
that's a super scary thought. And I run into too many people at like their late 50s or so that can barely change their socks. And so that's actually, I would say, one of the number one goals for some of the people that come to see me at that age group, at least.
Right. And so let's actually put that into perspective. So as you're sitting here talking about this, I have to keep reminding myself, all right, back straight, chest up, fix your posture. A lot of people are listening to this podcast right now and are in a state of bad posture, and they're sitting, which I heard is the next cigarettes. cigarettes are horrible for you. Well, so is sitting. People have office jobs, so they're 8, 10 hours a day. Um, when put that last thing that you said into perspective, a lot of people are going to gym with the goal of just being able to change their socks again. And so what can people
Exactly.
do right now if they're able to do such a simple what people think is, oh, this is a very simple daily movement. They can't imagine a life in which they're not able to change their own socks. What would you recommend so that they don't end up like that and having to have that as their primary goal?
So preventative measures, right? Preventative measures. Uh, Big things I would say is some of at least with what's trending, right? You got this lower cross syndrome state. So if this is a person looking forward, usually what's tight is the lower back here, and then the hip flexors over here, and then what needs to be strengthened would be the abs, so your core, and not just the abs, but the abs are a big part of your rectus abdominis. You've got the obliques, you've got this transverse abdominis, but your whole core here, and then your glutes too. So that would be all three: glute max, glute med, glute min. So you would strengthen these two portions while making sure you lengthen and relax these two portions over here. How would you do that? I mean, you'd have to do either deep lunges on like a regular basis. Think and activities that would help with this would be yoga. So, any type of regular yoga will kind of get you into those like warrior two, warrior one, or like crescent lunge stances. And that'll help both with the strengthening and lengthening aspect because you're using your core to kind of keep yourself upright. But it's a lot of dropping into the body, right? It's all connecting mind to body. Because like you'll only realize you need to be straightened on up if you can feel your body do it throughout the day. And then you can be more aware of it and then you can address it as it comes along.
Okay.
I would also not um, not totally write off, even at a young age, things like massage, things like either stretching actively by yourself or even passively stretching, having a partner or a hired professional to stretch you out. And then always exercise,
Always
exercise
exercise.
and in a full range of motion. Exactly.
Got it. So
Exactly.
you are speaking a lot about specific names of muscles, and I heard something a long time ago, and this is a principle that a lot of like CEOs and very successful people they live by. If they don't know something, it's okay. It's not that they should be looked down upon or feel bad about themselves, not be as confident. If they don't know something, that's fine because there are trained professionals who do know. And so we live in a society that would much more benefit us if we are collaborative instead of competitive. We are competitive by nature. That's in and of itself a whole nother argument. But the fact of the matter is argument aside, if we actually collaborate and we utilize each other's strengths and cover each other's weaknesses, then we'll move forward faster as a team and as a society. You know what you're talking about. So if somebody hears this and they're like, "Oh wow, I'm lost. Like I don't know what these muscle groups are for." Well, that's exactly why they should be looking into the services of a professional who is certified in these things. Would you agree?
Right. That would probably be my biggest preventative measure is hiring somebody like me to take care of you, right?
Right.
At least once or twice a week. And then and you'll so again, like, and that's just me kind of throwing my name on out there, but finding somebody that actually cares. So I care about all of my clients. They'll ask me questions, and I do try to educate them with each and every session. Oh,
Mhm.
hey, what is that muscle? Like, how did that get so tight? How can I release that even when you're not around? And it's not like I'll try to gatekeep any type of information. I'll give it to them. Like, hey, here's the homework you should be doing when I'm not here. I'll see you next Sunday, and we'll keep working at this issue together.
Right. Because you mentioned earlier that it's the body coming into itself, people realizing what's wrong with their body by feeling it. That's a beautiful thing.
Hmm.
Reiki also has that principle where although I'm doing the energy work on the person, one of the main things that I mention when I'm doing a session is that whatever you're feeling, whatever healing that you're going through, I have helped you unlock that within yourself. So you should now be able to reconnect to this healing energy by yourself. I just helped open up your eyes to it. I just helped you connect with self.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. That's a beautiful way to put it. It's like eventually you should be able to have accumulated enough education and a knowledge and awareness of your own body that okay, I know what I need to do to help prevent something like this from happening in the future. And you know, I've got some people that are well educated, but they still just want to feel good once or two times a week. You
Right?
know, get a little massage, and I've got no issues with that either.
Right on. So we're actually we're closing in on the meeting time. And so I would like to ask, with all the value that you've brought us, people who have further questions, people who want to know more and would like to utilize your services, where are they able to find you? And where are they best able to find out more information, what you can provide?
So you can always reach me at either through my IG, through my email, or my YouTube. Right, all of
Okay.
them are Jim Healthy Habits. So on IG, Instagram, you got at Jim Healthy Habits. That's JIM Healthy Habits.
All one
YouTube, it'll
word,
be
no
the
dots,
user Jim
right?
Healthy Habits. All one word, no dots. Yep. I was
Okay.
able to snag it before somebody else did. And then my email, JimHealthyHabits at gmail.com.
Awesome. Awesome. So IG, Jim Healthy Habits, that's on YouTube as well. And you said email, Jim
Yeah,
Healthy
email.
Habits
I'm
at Gmail.
super exactly, yeah. And I'm super open to anybody reaching out like with questions, or even if they want to discuss some of the information that they want to kind of bounce ideas, or even if they want to counter with some information of their own. Like remember, health in general is a practice. And
Mhm.
anything you practice, you never attain all the knowledge in because it's always evolving. You know, there's always a study coming out that's saying XYZ, you know, this, that, and the third, kind of counterintuitive to what we used to think, because knowledge is always being brought to this field.
Right on. Cool, brother. Well, we went over uh your licensing, we went over your certifications, we went over some of the healthy habits that people should be doing to actually maintain their health, because preventative measures is the best way to help yourself. Don't get into the situation in the first place. Once you're there, you can receive help, but the best way to keep that from happening is to prevent it from happening.
100%. Look, man, I'm always open to being honest. Like, if you want to talk, whatever it is, I don't care. This was nice. I appreciate you like having me on the podcast.
Yeah, we actually I didn't even get to go over a bunch of the questions that I wanted to ask, and so we're definitely going to be doing an episode 2 of this segment, because
All
health is
right,
wealth. And if all you
100%.
have is riches and you don't have health, you'll never be able to enjoy it. If all you have is health and you don't have any money, then you could be as healthy as you want, but living under a bridge isn't really going to serve you well. So it's like to combine these things, to have the openness and the artist's soul, right? To have the entrepreneur's mind and to have the athlete's body, is that trifecta right there.
100%. Hey, part two coming soon then.
Part 2 coming soon. And that's our timer right there. My brother, I want to thank you so much for being here. I want to thank everybody for watching. And like I said, if you have any questions, please hit him up. He's very open. He's down to help. If you want to see some more value being brought by the Tony Blanko podcast, go ahead, like and subscribe. Comment any questions that you have or any topics that you'd like us to cover. And thank you, everybody, for being here. Much love to you all. Jimmy, take
Much
it easy, man.
love.
Much love.
Take
Peace.
care. Peace.